Solving an inequality. How do we know this is an inequality other than the fact that they tell us? By this greater than or equal to sign, or less than or equal to sign, depends on which way you read it from. So this is saying this whole expression is either bigger, so greater than, or equal to this expression. So maybe more simply would be used to 4 is greater than 3. That's true, right? That inequality is true. If x was greater than 3, what could some values of x be? Well, x could be 4, 5, 6, and so on. So in this problem, a little bit more difficult, right? We have x's on both sides, but what we're trying to do is simplify it down to something like x is greater than 3. And that tells us if we replaced all these x's with a number greater than 3, let's say 4, this inequality would be true, in that this left-hand side is greater than the right-hand side. So let's go ahead and solve this inequality, and then we can check, right, as our last step. So to solve an inequality like this one, we can effectively treat this as an equal sign, where we expand both sides out and solve for x. So let's expand the left-hand side. So 3 times 2 becomes 6. 3 times negative x, negative 3x. Negative 2 times 3x, negative 6x. Negative 2 times positive 1, negative 2. And that is all greater than or equal to 14 minus 14x. So our first step here was just to expand out both sides. Now we can group like terms. So on the left-hand side, we have 6 minus 2 becomes 4. Minus 3x minus 6x becomes minus 9x. That's all greater than or equal to 14 minus 14x. Now let's get all the x's on one side, all the terms with x in it, and then all the constants on the other. So I'm going to add 14x to both sides. And I do that because I want to get rid of this minus 14x. So by adding 14x, that becomes 0. But since it's an equation, I need to add it to both sides. So on the left, we get minus 9x plus 14x. On the right, when we add 14x to minus 14x, that becomes 0. So I won't even write that. Okay, let's group our x terms on the left-hand side. Minus 9x plus 14x, is, what's that, plus 5x. And that's all greater than or equal to 14. Now I want all the constants on the right-hand side, so I'm going to subtract 4 to get rid of this positive 4, but I must do that on both sides. And we're left with 5x is greater than or equal to 14 minus 4, that's just 10. And I want x by itself, so I'm going to divide the left-hand side by 5 to get just x. But since it's an inequation, I need to do that on the right-hand side. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And that would be our final answer. So what this says is if we pick any value for x that is 2 or greater, right, greater than 2, and we plugged it in for x up here, this left-hand side, whatever value that becomes, is always greater than or equal than this right-hand side. So your job right now is to just pick a value for x that's greater than or equal to 2. So maybe pick 2 to start with, and then maybe pick 10. Substitute it in for x on the left-hand side, see what number you get. Substitute it in on the right-hand side, see what number you get, and check that the first number, right, the one on the left-hand side, is greater than or equal to the one on the right-hand side.